Hey Desmond, it's finally time that we actually get the chance to actually leave the house to actually finally do a proper recording face to face, human
Yes.
connection. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, you don't realize how much you miss it until you
Yeah.
don't have it.
Yeah, when we were doing the Zoom podcast, what happened was that there was a lot of issues. Internet issue was one, and then we have a lot of lighting issue with a lot of our participants, things like that. But we have to adapt and we have to follow what's right. And talking about that right now, I think right now on the internet, a lot of people are already realizing that they can start an online business, but because there's so many business models on the internet, and people are always wondering what would be the best business model to start. And I don't know if you see a lot of these ads on Facebook, on Google, on YouTube, telling you that we have this business model, that business model, we have this way that can make you rich, make you wealthy. There's just so many of these people advertising their courses, their trainings, their program, which is all, some of them are really good. I know some of them personally, and they have some really good training. But I think a lot of people are a little bit confused about what to do or what to start, and I think most people tend to make bad decisions when it comes to choosing the right business system for their first venture online.
For sure. And you know what? That's something that quite interesting, because when you mentioned that, a lot of people were actually messaging in asking about what would be the best way to kind of like jump on the internet. And when they thought of internet business, the first thing that pops in their mind for some reason, for some whatever point it is, it's because of e-commerce. They're like, hey, should we start an e-commerce business? How much money should we invest in? What can we do?
Right.
And I want to take your time, because it's not that e-commerce is good or bad. It's a matter of like timing. When is the good time to start? Would that be a good thing to start for a new?
I think
new
e-commerce
person?
is fantastic actually. I think it's because, well, here's the thing why people often relate selling online products
Yep.
straight away to e-commerce, straight away to selling physical products online, and they always think that that's the only model. And I don't blame them, because a lot of the time when people think about starting a business, they think about selling something, and that's something usually in their mind, the manifestation or the visualization in their mind is always something physical, like a cup, like a mug, like some fashion lines, apparel lines, And I don't blame them for that, but that's not the only thing that the internet can offer. There's a lot of other business models. I remember I saw an article saying that a kid on YouTube, what he does is just review toys, and he makes 8 figures a year reviewing toys on YouTube. That's not even selling anything, right? So my point is that there's a lot of business models out there, but a lot of people tend to associate online business with selling products online, or specifically physical products. And for me, I like to tell people to stay away from any business model that requires money upfront if you're getting started with your first business online.
Wow.
The reason is because many people think that when it comes to online business, it's just putting products online and people automatically buy something. I remember when I was getting started when I was young, I thought that by having a website, automatically traffic is going to come, people are going to come. And this is back in 2005, 2006, right? And it didn't happen. I realized that it's a lot more than that. You actually need to understand 3 key components, which is you have to have an offer, and then you got to have a traffic source, which is the place where you're going to buy traffic from or acquire traffic from. And more importantly, you need to have a sales process, like a conversion system. How are you going to convert them into clicks? How are you going to convert them into subscribers? How are you going to convert them into customers? But there's nothing wrong with e-commerce. I just want to clarify that. But I have something against specifically, I would say, cross-border dropshipping. Okay? And what I mean by cross-border dropshipping is you are going onto AliExpress, and then you're looking for like some really cheap product, and then you sell it in another market. Like for example, you will sell it in the UK market, Great Britain, you sell it in Australia, you sell it in US, and you sell it in US dollars, you mark up the price really, really high for a very cheap product. That's nothing wrong with that. That's business in my opinion. But what's wrong with that is, selling people this dream, telling people that this is the best business model when it's not, because most people forgot to calculate one thing, profit margin. Right? They forgot that when you're selling a product, you need to spend money to acquire that customer to buy a product, and sometimes you need to spend money to acquire that particular product so that you can sell that product.
Correct.
That's a lot of costs involved. There's a lot of expenses involved. In accounting, we call it cost of goods sold. And you don't want this number to be too high, because it puts a lot of risk in your business. And many of these drop shippers that I know that is doing AliExpress, and then they were doing, they're selling in the US market. Disclaimer though, we have actually started doing that 3 years ago in a dog training market, in a dog market, puppy market, and we did really well. We're doing like I'm not saying like really well in terms of like millions and millions of dollars. I think we were doing like $1,000 to $2,000 profit. We're selling dog leashes,
Okay.
little dog toys and things like that. We were doing really well. We were buying those products from China and then we're shipping it to our customers all over the world.
Mm.
Our biggest issue was that at the end of the month, we realized that after working so hard, we get to keep very little take-home income or profit.
Okay.
The reason was because we were paying so much in ads,
Yep.
right? And we have to pay for the website, which is not a lot, but we have to pay for a lot of things like, the product itself. And then when our supplier stopped manufacturing that product, and then we have to figure out, how do we come up with find the next best-selling product? And today to do dropshipping is a lot more difficult because not all products sell. I don't know about you, if you go onto Facebook timeline, you see the ads, you're gonna be bombarded with so many products, all of them from AliExpress.
Yeah.
And some of them are even selling the same thing. In fact, I've actually experienced this where I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw a product that basically this product, I can't remember what it is. There's this product, I know it's from AliExpress. I just can't remember what it is. And then when I scroll down, I saw another ad by a different person, a different company advertising the same product
Oh,
at
wow.
an even cheaper price. In fact, now they're selling their products at 99 cents. And then they're doing all this free plus shipping, and they have to use a lot of these crazy strategies in order to make that happen. I think it's not scalable because a lot of these products, the moment it gets saturated, you have to find a new product, which costs a lot of money because you have to advertise on Facebook, you have to advertise on YouTube, and find what's the next winning product that will actually generate profit for you.
I think this is quite interesting because these are things that usually you have to plan out before running the business. But a lot of people currently, they're jumping onto it because with the whole economy having its turn bad ups and downs, a lot of them are losing their income. Or their fear of losing their income. Hence, when an advertisement comes out and say, hey, you know what, you should go online and do business online, and they are exposed to that, they think that is, like you mentioned, they were sold the dream, but not really the right strategies. And it's so easy for someone to just talk about all the beautiful things, but they don't talk about the nitty-gritty stuff, which I would like to kind of like take this opportunity, right? Maybe like for individuals that might be new, or might be a little bit seasoned, but they're looking to explore out of the commercial, normal, traditional business onto internet business. What would you say it's like some of the truth behind e-commerce, the goods and the bads?
Well, you gotta understand that 50% of your product sales price is most likely gonna go into advertising. Because your competitors are advertising, and it's a matter of who can pay more advertising money. If you can pay more, you're gonna win the market. You're gonna dominate the market. There is literally a saying: whoever who can spend the most money in advertising wins the game, and that's very, very true. So, but if you're a traditional business, let's say you have a traditional Chinese herb store, and you want to put it online, you want to sell herbs online, that's possible. That's very easy actually, right? Because that's quite niche and people can search for it quite easily.
For sure.
But if you're selling something that is very competitive, like apparel, like t-shirt, like fashion, it's very, very difficult. The reason is because, okay, this is my personal opinion, some might not agree with this. I really believe that besides for majority of fashion, for most of fashions, there's no such thing as fashion. It's more towards egoistic way of trying to display your success or display a perception. Okay, unless you're talking about suits and stuff like that, I think that's different. But when it comes to like, why do people buy Gucci? I was in Pavilion a couple of days ago. I was in Mid Valley, I think a week or two ago, which are two big shopping malls here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And it shocks me to see that the traditional store or the normal stores are not getting a lot of foot traffic. But you know what's getting foot traffic? Adidas, Louis Vuitton, Gucci. They're getting a lot of lines outside, people waiting to go in. I was really shocked, and a lot of the people that are lining up to go in, they are really young. I'm talking like 25, maybe 30 at most, 35 at most.
Wow, they got money to spend.
Which is shocking because we are in a coronavirus economy right now, and I'm just a little bit curious why people do that. And I was thinking about and I think this relates to e-commerce as well. I don't know if did you buy anything online during the movement control order or the lockdown?
Actually, I've started to buy more things online than ever before. To the point that even though we're not in the lockdown anymore, I'm finding it very hard not to buy things online.
So, but most likely you will always buy from a reputable site, or you will always buy from a site that you have bought from before. So this is where I tell people this: if you want to start an e-commerce website, my recommendation for you is to build two things. Number one is to build a brand. I think a brand for e-commerce is really important. I think the reason why people don't buy from independent stores, like stores as in online stores, like if you open up your own website and then people don't buy on your website, it's because there's no trust factor involved. So
Correct.
how do you create a trust factor is very important by using brand. So this is a strategy that I recommend all my students to do, and most of them they actually agree with this strategy, and this is a really powerful one. The fastest way to build a brand is to work with an influencer, right? And I'm not talking about big influencer. I'm talking about, maybe we're talking about 20,000 followers, 30,000 followers. Work with them, get them to do a collaboration together. You don't have to pay them because they are 20,000 followers. Chances are you just need to sponsor them something, right?
Okay.
One of our student, I'm not gonna name names. I don't know if I have permission to name names, but he's in the fitness industry. If I say you'll know who he is. They're working with a local restaurant. They're trying to go online and do more delivery sales, which is e-commerce sales.
Okay.
So the way they're doing this is that they're trying to do kind of like a challenge in itself, a 10-day
Okay.
lose weight challenge. And
Wow.
you eat the food that this restaurant is providing. So that's a great way to build branding because number one, you're using a challenge and you're challenging all these influencers to do it together, and then you're sponsoring them food for free, and then these people are gonna be tagging. And then I'm in fitness, like I'm not selling anything in fitness, but I like fitness. I go to the gym 5-6 times a week, and for me, when I saw the name of the restaurant, I have no trust. But after this thing, like I saw so many of these influencers started working with this brand, I started to feel like maybe I should
Give it a go.
give it a go, give it a
Yeah.
try, maybe order some chicken breasts and
Yeah.
salaries and stuff like that, right? And that's how trust and brand is being built. I'm not talking about hiring like Michelle Yeoh, Jackie Chan,
Got
Will
you.
Smith to collaborate with you. I'm talking about just getting small influencers and you pay them with food, you pay them with the products that you have, you don't pay them with cash, and then what you do is that you make sure you get many of them involved.
Okay.
And then you're gonna create some sort of a shockwave within
Nice.
the industry. That's number one. And number two, so number one was brand.
Yep.
Number two, the most important thing is this is really important. Create an email database.
Oh.
It's insane. An email database. We're talking about email lists. There's so many e-commerce stores. I don't know if this is something that is common in Malaysia or what, but usually if you go to American e-commerce stores, you will notice that they'll be giving you like, oh, get your $5 coupon for first-time visitors,
Yep.
things like that, and then they'll want your email address so
Correct.
that they can remarket to you. And when they remarket to you, if you don't buy now, you can buy later, right?
Correct.
So sometimes it's very common that I go to, let's say, a website to buy a shirt, for example, and maybe at that time, I'm not thinking about buying that shirt, but maybe 2 months down the line, I might be thinking about buying a shirt similar to that. So I think being in touch with your customer is very important, whether it's through Facebook retargeting or the cheaper way will be through email lists. So I highly recommend most e-commerce store to build an email list. So when people go to the website, don't just sell them. I know you want to make your money back fast because you're paying for advertising, but how about collecting an email subscribers list? And what you want to do is you want to just email them every day, and if your product actually creates some sort of success story, like let's say if I sell, there's this company that I'm subscribing to and they send chicken breasts to my house, and they're not doing this at all. So if you're listening, if you're sending it to my house, you should be doing this. Send success stories of people that got result from eating chicken breasts,
Oh.
right? Maybe building bigger muscles or losing weight, right? Or losing body fat. And people that don't like chicken breasts might just decide to want to buy chicken breasts because they see success stories all the time. Partner with influencers, right? We got so many ideas like this that we use to help different clients and different customers that we have. And I always felt like most people are too in love with their products, they forgot about the business. So, but that's a proper e-commerce business that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about buying cheap products from China, like earrings and trinkets from China, and hope to sell it in the US. That's not sustainable, and you cannot sell that business. If one day, like touch wood, something happened, you needed a lot of money really quickly, and you want to list down all the assets that you have that you can liquidate, like your car, your house, and let's say business is one. Guess what? You can't really liquidate China dropshipping store, because there's no real brand to it, there's no value to it. I wouldn't pay any money to it because I know this is one of those things where it comes and go. But if you're building a brand, let's say you're selling chicken breasts online through an e-commerce store, you have like a loyal following of just 100 customers, okay? And then you have subscription model, and then you have a database, email list. I think that gives you easily, if you're doing 100 customers a week, we're talking about valuations of easily 6 to 7 figures just like that. So if anything happens to you, you can just sell the business. So I think most people are approaching business wrongly because when they don't have products to sell, they always think that, oh, I must go to China and source a product to sell.
Yep.
That's not the right mindset. I always believe that entrepreneurs are problem solvers, right? What problems can your product solve? That's a very important, right? Think about it. That's why if you don't have a product to sell, how about you find other people's business that's not doing well, but they have a great product. You take it online for them, and then all you do is that you take 50% of the sales that is online, and then share the 50% with the person that is offline, right? And then this person, think about it, this person that's offline doesn't know how to do the online stuff.
Correct.
And he's getting like pretty much passive income coming in from the 50% online. So lots of opportunities here. You don't have to love your product. And when it comes to physical product, it's very hard to like chicken breast, let me just tell you that, right? But you just need to understand how to grow that business, because then it's exitable. That's a very, very important thing, because if you get sick of it, you can exit. The problem with most China dropshipping, I'm not saying that it's bad. I know people that make serious money doing that. I just know that it's very, very difficult as well. You need to spend a ton of money on ads, and you're going to risk a lot, and not every product that you sell will sell well, because people always think very logically. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like, people always think that if I take a product from AliExpress, I take it out, I put it on the Shopify, and automatically it's gonna sell. It's not like that. You have to convince people to buy that product.
That's for sure. Because if it's a product you can find everywhere, it's just a matter of like which one is cheaper or which one I trust more.
Yeah.
And if you're new, I don't trust you.
And you can't touch the product before you buy it if it's online.
Correct.
I don't know if you know, like all these in Ipoh, there was a flea market like that in Paprika, in Kuala Lumpur. I bet this is all around the world too. Any flea market or any those what do you call those trinket markets where you go? It's kind of like night market or morning market, but except they sell like trinkets and bracelets and little things cheaply, phone cases.
Wow.
Yeah, so we go to these places to take a look at some of the products, and some of these products are exactly the same from AliExpress. So, but they're selling it offline. So they're buying it on the internet and they're selling it offline at a higher price. But for me, I would rather buy these products in an offline store than an online store, because the trust factor, number one, the brand. So really building a brand is very, very important. And that's what I tell a lot of e-commerce people to do. Stop thinking short term, stop thinking like, I just want to make money right now, I just want to get a sale right now, I just want to get this successful, right? Think more in a business sense. Calculate your margin. Do you even know what's your cost of goods sold? How much is your cost of manufacturing? How much are you going to be spending on advertising? That's a very important thing, right? And most people are too focused on the technology, the technical part. Or how do I set up Shopify, Facebook ads? Those are the things that, in my opinion, are things that you can learn yourself in like one evening.
Correct.
Right? But people are too engrossed in focusing on the wrong side of things. So for e-commerce dropshipping, my recommendation is, if you have to do dropshipping, the best thing to do is to sell local products and to dropship locally. That is the best way. And I've done this before when I was in university in the US. I'll tell you a funny story, because what happened was I was in University of Nebraska, and I noticed one thing. I don't know if you know about University of Nebraska. It's a college town. And what happened is that during game day, everyone wears the sports team's color, which is red color. And they have a big N on the shirt, a big N on the hat. And that was also the first time when I went there. That was the first time I actually met Warren Buffett in person as well. I didn't know it was him. But he was wearing the red shirt and the N, and big huge N in front, N for Nebraska, of course. And I thought, wow, that's a huge money-making opportunity if you think about it. That's like in the city alone, the people that come in to watch the game, it's about, if I'm not wrong, 50 to 80,000 people, depending on what game. So I was thinking, I was calculating, that's big money. But the thing is, I was in college. I didn't want to like spend money to like rent a warehouse and focus on things that should not be focusing on. I want to be focusing on things that really matter. And in this particular case, what happened was that I decided to do dropshipping. And then I learned that one of the best things that I want to sell was, I don't know if you know, billiard table, but like pool table, dartboard, things that you put in a rec room.
Like a caveman thing.
Yeah, like a caveman thing, like a small, like really light bars for you to put your alcohol, but these are the things that you can pick up with both hands, no problem. Just like cool stuff that you will put in your man cave. we were using that. We wanted to sell that, and we found some really good deals in China at the time. And the problem was shipping. The problem was also customs. There was a lot of issues that we didn't want to deal with. And then we thought, hey, how about with that? At the time we wanted to validate the idea. So we thought, hey, how about I look for a local dropshipper in the United States. So we called up a lot of people. We went online, found databases of people that do dropshipping, manufacturers that do dropshipping. There are many of them, and they will actually dropship the products for you. And the products are of higher quality as well. And what really made the difference for our e-commerce site in the past was that we really focus on the advertising part where we brand it as made in America, right? Because it is made in America. Every single inch of the thing was made in America, and we use that and we target the right people, and our sales were exploding like crazy. And people were buying stuff because it was made in America. People were, at the time, I don't know about now, but at the time people were loving being American. They were proud to be American, and people loved that. People were buying that like crazy, and money was not an issue at that time. People would pay extra just to be able to buy a made in America dartboard over a Chinese dartboard, which is insane. And that's when I realized one thing. It's not about buying cheap and trying to sell high or trying to sell higher, right? But it's about your product. What's your marketing strategy for it? Like my marketing strategy for my Rec Room products, it's purely American-made, support American-made products. And we donate to like different American charities, and we make it really about USA. And the whole website, we have like USA flags, we have the bald eagle. It was really funny, right? And here's the funny thing, the whole website, it's all about America, it's all about how amazing America is, made in America, but it's built by this Malaysian Chinese guy that is studying in the US. But I think that's a funny thing. But it was a really, really interesting thing because we had a hook and a strategy for it. And most of these Chinese dropshipping sites that I see, they don't have a marketing hook to it. There's no reason to buy except cheap. And we can't always be fighting for cheap because we talk about this thing called pricing war. Are you familiar with the pricing war?
Oh, also too much.
Yeah.
It ends up being no one wins.
Yeah. So the way pricing war works is that, let's just say that we have two parties and they're selling the same product. Why are they selling the same product? Because they can easily source this in Alibaba, they can source this from AliExpress. And the crazy thing about this is that the suppliers don't care about exclusivity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whoever buys.
Correct. And what happened is that it's a matter of who can price it the cheapest, and the customer will buy from the cheapest. And I don't want to go into pricing war. I want to go into exclusive war. I want to go into a fight where people really want the product so good that they don't care paying just 20% extra or 30% extra. And that's my personal belief since then. I've always been one person that believes it should not be dropping the price, but we should be raising price, right? Which is crazy. Like talking about prices, this is gonna be off topic a little bit. I don't know if you know, but the brand Chanel increased price, I believe, once this year during the pandemic. Doesn't make sense at all, right? Supposedly luxury sales is supposed to go down, but from my insiders that were telling me, not really. That's insane. And I just came back from meeting my guy at Audemars Piguet, which is a top watch brand. And he was telling me, Desmond, sales not affected that much. Oh, by the way, we also raised our price another 8-9%. Second time this year.
Wow.
So which I don't understand, like really. But I do think that in the future, retail is going to morph into more of an experience. And that's why I say all these luxury products are going to win. The reason is because people are able to buy something besides just the product. Because products are really commodities, right? But if you're able to sell experience, then you are really selling more than just a product. And I think that's really important for whatever business that sells products. How can you make it a fun experience? Like if I have a chicken breast e-commerce website company, I'm gonna do like every Sunday we're gonna all the members of my chicken breasters, I call them chicken breast customers on subscription. I'm gonna throw an event.
Nice.
We're gonna work out together on a Sunday morning. We're gonna go for a hike. Maybe at the end of the month, we're gonna go to this gym, and then we're gonna get the gym to sponsor us, and then we're gonna do a spin cycling class together, whatever, free, just for my chicken breasters or whatever, right? And then you're not really just selling chicken breast, because chicken breast is a commodity. It's cheaper for me to buy chicken breast raw from a grocery store. But if you're telling me I'm getting like these meetups, I'm getting like
Community.
invitations and things like that. Oh my gosh, like that's more than just a product. You're just more than a commodity, right? What's your thought on the e-commerce space right now?
I look at it very interesting because number one, why would people choose e-commerce compared to any other businesses? And I believe it's because it is the easiest to relate back to the traditional business of buying something from someone and
Yeah.
then selling it to someone else, being the middle person. And because of being comfortable, they recognize it, they do that. And that's the first level. The second level is it's so easy to see how is it that so much volume of sales for certain products and certain things, people have this assumption that volume is profit that they should be earning for themselves.
Yeah, volume is just gonna create more headache. I'm gonna tell you this. Most people forgot that when it comes to selling dropshipping products, you need to sell a lot of units. We're talking about 10,000, 30,000 at least to make a sizable income per month. That's a lot of product you need to be, selling, clearing. But people forgot about the fulfillment side. Who's going to do the
Correct.
customer support? Who's going to do the
scary
shipping,
part. Yeah.
the packaging? What if the shipment is lost? And if you're selling apparel, what if people wore your t-shirt for a day, they go to like a place and they come back and return it and say, oh, the size doesn't fit. And you know that happens,
Yeah.
right? In America,
Yeah.
well, what people do is that, in high school, they always end the high school with a prom. Most kids who can't afford a suit, they'll go to a place and buy a suit and then not take out the tag, not take out anything, and
Yeah.
wear it to the prom, and then the next day they're going to return it back.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's happening with a lot. That's why people need to really think it thoroughly what products to sell. Don't be too emotional about this. I've got students and I've got people that tell me, oh, I'm passionate about this. I'm like, dude, if you can't even do a simple business, you want to sell that product, that's going to be tough. Do whatever is the easiest that you can make money first. And when you got money, you got choices. So then you can go and explore the option that you want.
And in the next thing that I think is also quite appealing for people when they think of e-commerce is the assumption that they don't need to put money down. Because some companies are giving you the opportunity to just market the products without paying money up front.
Okay.
So it's only when the sales happen then you actually pay it up. But they forget about something really crucial, which is like you just mentioned, after it's already sold, when it's delivering to the customers,
Right.
how many percent will actually be happy with it? How many percent will start returning it? And who bears those costs?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they were duped, I would say, because they didn't really do their due diligence. They didn't really understand, because a lot of the gurus out there, they're telling you all these beautiful stories about just the business of e-commerce, which there is definitely positive towards it.
Yeah.
But there's also the need to understand what are the risks that comes in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are hiding that risk.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that. It's like the reality that you have to work on the brand. You have to work on the ROI, the cost. And also the important thing is of like, how do you know how certain products are actually giving back in revenue? So I like the fact that you're not talking about just selling on volume base, because let's take an example of the fidget spinners. I mean, that was such an amazing hot seller product last time.
Yeah.
Everyone was selling it, everyone was buying it. But overnight, dead silence. Imagine if you're one of those individuals that just bought a load of this stuff and no one's buying anymore.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah.
It's all on you.
So even if you're doing dropshipping, if you think about it, your business, you've been counting on the sales for fidget spinners for, let's say, 2 to 3 months, and then on the 4th month, your sales just dwindle down. And what do you do after that? I mean, you can't keep promoting fidget spinner. You gotta adapt and pivot every 2-3 months.
Correct.
And I don't know about you, but pivoting and adapting is very tiring for a lot of business owners. You gotta do it in a way that maybe once a year, but not once every 2-3 months, right?
Yeah.
But right now it's even faster. Now, bear in mind that I'm not really attacking dropshipping. I believe it's a great model when done right, but it's just that most people cannot do it right. And it's a lot harder today due to saturation. Like 4 years ago, if you asked me, should I do dropshipping? I say, hey, you can give it a try. I think it's gonna give you motivation. You're gonna be excited about doing this. I think most people should just do this. I think there are better business models out there. And right now, a lot of people are talking about this term called drop servicing. Have you heard of it?
Oh, I've heard of it. Not really sure what it is.
Yeah, it's basically kind of like drop shipping, but think about it. So drop shipping, you're selling other people's product, you're selling manufacturers' product, as well as your own, and then you actually ask the manufacturer to ship the product to your customers directly, so you don't touch the product.
Okay.
Similar thing here. So let's say you are a drop servicer. Let's say you are selling chiropractic services. Obviously, you're not a chiropractor, so you cannot be giving chiropractic treatments. So what you do is that you partner up with a chiropractor and you say, hey, chiropractor, I'm going to sell your services for you. I'm going to sell your treatments for you. and in return, I want 30%.
Mm.
Yeah, I want 40% off, depending on what you negotiate, okay? And you just sell the chiropractic service and then you send the customer to the chiropractor that you're working with. That's called drop service. I think that's a lot more promising. And the reason why I'm talking about that is because if you think about it, you're not selling at low margin. Physical products many times are low margin. And just to be clear on this podcast, if you've been following me, I'm not a big believer of margin by percentage. Like, for example, people say, oh, I got a margin of 100%, but if you're a dollar, 100% of a dollar is still a dollar, right?
Yes.
So it's not going to bring you really far. So I really believe margin we're talking about is few $100, right? There's an exception to certain types of products, physical products in this space. For example, like skincare, they have really good margin. Like cost is about $20, they can sell for 200. That's good margin, right? But if it costs you $20 and you're selling it at $40, that's not very good margin. Because I'm going to tell you why. Because probably you're not going to make money. It's going to cost you more than $20 to acquire a customer on Facebook, on Google, on YouTube, and you want to be able to actually have a bigger margin. So the way we do it with a lot of the products that we have, a lot of the products that we advise our customers and clients, we tell them to bundle something and do a special promotion, or just focus on selling higher ticket stuff. It's just a lot easier.
That's great strategies. I mean, bundling and giving it like an outcome result, rather than just the products and models and stuff, which ties me to the next part, because you've actually inspired so many people to start their business and to start it correctly. And a lot of people has been asking about e-commerce and so on and so forth. All right, so Desmond, how about you answer this question? If someone is new to business, let's not even talk about digital business, let's just say new to business altogether. Should they dabble into e-commerce? If yes, how? If no, what should they involve themselves in first, if this is going to be like first time?
Okay, it really depends on their background, because due to the lack of context, I'll just assume that this person is just completely brand new, nothing at all. I would say yes, let's dabble in it, but put a timeline to it.
Okay.
Maybe 48 hours. Put 48 hours on your clock and say, you know what, I'm going to get this product from AliExpress, or I'm going to get this product from wherever manufacturer that you can find, and attempt to sell it on your own Facebook page, or attempt to sell it on your own Facebook group if you have any, attempt to sell it in your own LinkedIn, your contacts, and see how many people actually buy. Okay, and ask yourself, is the effort that you put in worth it for the profit, not revenue, for the profit you generated.
Got you.
If it's getting return, then it's a good start. Then that's when you go a little bit more serious. Maybe you build out a Shopify store. But chances are, if you could be, for the amount of work that you're putting in, let's say if you sell a consulting service or you sell a done-for-you service, easily you could be charging $2,000, $3,000. For you to work so hard to contact someone and convince someone to buy something at $20, it's really difficult, right? And sometimes even like some of the products that we have at $19, $29, $39, sometimes people are just like, oh, convince me to buy your product at $19. I'm like, no, I'm not going to convince you, right? The price itself is, in my opinion, extremely affordable. Back then in the past, we were using this tripwire offer, which is a front-end offer that's set for $7 to get people in, right, to become a customer. You have no idea how much convincing it needs to get people to buy at $7, right? I find that selling cheap products is a lot more difficult than selling expensive products. For expensive products, let's say a $15K package, I can go to a business owner and say, hey, what problems do you have? Business owner will tell me, I got these 3 problems. Okay, I can solve these 3 problems for you for $15K, right? And I usually get the deal. But if it's a $7 offer, I usually need to convince whoever that person is, the prospect is, and I need to put in a lot of effort, which is not worth the time. So for me, I feel like selling low ticket and high ticket, the amount of effort is not that big in terms of the difference.
Okay.
So why not just sell high ticket products with higher margins, right? And for people that are starting out, try 40 hours, try for 2 days, go through the contacts, try using free marketing, not spend a single cent at all. In 48 hours, see if you get any sales from the product you chose to sell on AliExpress. If you fail to get any result in 48 hours, try it with a service. How about that? Okay, not try it with a service. Call a chiropractor, call a law firm, call an accounting firm, wherever you are, and try the same method again. See which one is easier, which one gets you paid more, which one you feel a lot happier doing. And go through the whole process, including the fulfillment process. For me, with physical products, it's not a type of business that I want to touch right now. And the reason is because the last time I did it, it was a lot of headache because we're getting hundreds of sales for dog leashes, and orders would disappear.
Oh wow.
It would disappear. I have no idea what happened, and then people would be complaining, and people would be like, and the worst thing is like we were getting a lot of these people that blackmail us, which is now very common. People that blackmail, we're gonna drop you a negative review or bad review if you don't answer my email in 2 minutes. And I think that's the tough part about the world right now. But yeah, so I really believe that people need to think it thoroughly before they get started with e-commerce. Dropshipping, if you have a product ready, you sell chicken breast, for example, you sell shoes or whatever, you already have that, there's no harm trying to put it on Shopify and give it a try. If you can make it work, use 2 strategies that I shared. Brand, work with 10 influencers, for example, around 20K followers on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, and then get all of them to participate in a challenge. If you're selling shoes, how about do a hiking challenge, do a running challenge? Why not, right? If you are selling, I don't know what else you can be selling. You could be selling, let's say, a t-shirt, apparel, right? You can be doing the OOTD, outfit of the day challenge. Every single day you post and then you tag the company.
Correct.
And that's going to help you build some trust and authority in your circle. And then build an email list. People always forget about that.
It's interesting because this is actually a strategy from traditional businesses as well. But the biggest difference is like utilizing resources that can be easily acquired. Like last time, if you want to get influence, you have to be ready to fork up loads and loads of money.
Yeah, that's because the business owner is not trying. A lot of business owners, they are just trying to use money to solve problems instead of trying to creatively structure a way to create a collaboration. You don't need to work with the biggest influencer. You don't need to work with Jackie Chan. You don't need to work with Will Smith, right? You don't need those people. You just need the people like average influencer. They can really hike up your brand. Unless you can afford it, unless you are like Reebok, you are Nike, you are Adidas, then yeah, do that, right? Because I just saw Adidas, they're partnering with Jonah Hill for a sneaker.
Oh wow.
Even big brands are doing that strategy right now because they are literally using their own brand and then they collaborate with another brand or another celebrity and then put it as a limited edition. So maybe that's a strategy that you can try. How about you partner with one of the influencers and create, let's say, if I'm in the fitness industry, I sell chicken breast, right? How about I create I name one fitness influencer, I create a flavor, this person's favorite flavor.
Wow.
Let's say his personal favorite flavor would be black pepper.
Wow.
So I'm gonna create black pepper chicken breast, deliver to your home. But limited, it's only gonna be for this month's special or something like that.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And that's a lot of strategy that you can play with as long as you're willing to be creative and give it a try. There's no harm trying as long as your margin is sustainable, you have a profit margin, you can try a lot of marketing stuff. But if you're selling things that is really cheap and the margin is very little, there's not a lot of things you can try.
You're right. So by the end of the day, no matter what business you do, margins are number one priority.
Yeah, we look at margins, we look at profit margin, we look at the cost of goods sold, we look at whether the product is scalable, right? We want to look at the offer itself. Is it something that we can actually easily understood, especially with physical product, because you don't want to sell something that people don't understand. Yeah. I think those are some very, very important factors to actually take a look inside. Okay. Which I hope this podcast recording is going to be able to help a lot of people really understand the power of e-commerce, dropshipping, how to do this correctly, what to do, what not to do, give people more ideas as well.
Correct. I believe if people have clarity, like they don't just know about the beautiful stuff, but they also have to understand the dangers of it, then they can actually make a better decision moving forward. And I love the tip that you gave. It's like give yourself 48 hours, source certain things, go out there and test it out. Before forking out money into it, before putting too much effort into it, test it out, validate. And if it works, go on. If not, what can you tweak? How can you change? What can you do to get better margins? Yeah,
so for example, I'll give you an example how I do it, because people always give me excuses. Like, Desmond, you're too vague, you're not giving us step by step. That's because like life is not going to give you step by step, right? But I'll give you an example here. Let's say I want to open a chicken breast delivery subscription business, right? Let's say I'm not a cook. And I do not know where to source chicken breast. What I'm going to do, I'm going to advertise it, right? I'm going to sell it first. And then once I get sales in, which validated the idea, I'm going to go to like a chicken rice store. I'm going to go to any place that can sell chicken breast for me, and I'll buy the chicken breast from them. And then I will just drop ship it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? And maybe for my first 10 customers.
Yes.
And then once that's validated, then I'm going to properly go out there and find where I can source sustainable and healthy chicken breast options, right? But for my first 10 customers, I'm not going to lie to them. I'm going to tell them that I'm going to give you chicken breast. That's it, right? And I'm going to go to a chicken rice store, buy chicken breast, and then send it to them. I give it a try, and I think that's really important. Most people just don't validate the idea because they love their product so much. I think the number one mistake to avoid here is don't fall in love with the product. Just because you like that product doesn't mean that the rest of the world like it.
Yep. And that's a very good point. So if anyone were to reflect on anything, remember it's not just about you, it's about your customers. What do they want? What are you solving for them? And whether they will pay money for that. And I think that's a great thing to ponder on and something for people to actually take action on.
Awesome.
All right, Desmond, thank you so much for today's sharing. I can't wait for the next one.
No worries.
All right, guys, if you guys have not already subscribed, make sure you get yourself involved and get yourself updated with any of this information. Subscribe, and you know what? I look forward to see you guys in the next episode.